You came back. Well, you kind of had to if you wanted to give me the full marks that I needed. Anyway, financing and time management. Here we go. So, I told you what I'm doing. I told you about all the documentation process and how I'm going to go about that and asking questions and using Facebook and social media. But where does one have the time to do such a thing? Well, I've calendared everything out to sort of have everything come together. So, the project is due on the 9th of September at 2 p.m. So, as of right now, I have 13 and a half weeks to make these dresses, document the process, edit the videos, post and receive feedback from others. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have 13 and a half weeks. But on top of that, I'm also working on 2 other shows. I'm working on Things Lost for the MA showcase for LIPA itself, and I'm working on a smaller piece with MA actors for their dissertation module that they're completing, and that's taking up time as well. So I have to time manage myself to where I'm working on those shows, and then I'm also working on my dissertation and not run out of time. So in my haste to get a head start on this project, I have already completed 3 of the 10 garment pieces for the overall dress of the historical side. I have the combinations, the corset, and the bust bodice done. Seeing that I got those done, and now looking at my schedule, I am 3 weeks ahead of schedule on my whole dissertation for both dresses, not just the historical dress. The reason being that I got a head start and why I ordered all my fabrics before even having the money was I didn't know how long this was going to take me. I thought there was going to be a lot more hand stitching, but reading Margaret J. BLAIR's book on sewing and garment cutting and drafting, I looked and I kept reading, and nothing is set in stone that this has to be hand stitched, which leads me to believe that if a person had a home sewing machine like they did for most households who could afford it, everything would have been done on the machine. Now, there are dresses, there are lingerie dresses and day dresses that have been seen to be very finely hand stitched, and that's if you have time. Most women who were working class or young women who were doing other things probably didn't have time to sit there and hand stitch everything and do gathering, by hand. If you had a sewing machine, you probably went to the sewing machine just to do it right away because it's fast, it's efficient, and it gives you a nice, clean stitching line. So I didn't have a lot of hand stitching to do on the undergarments. So now I'm 3 weeks ahead of schedule. That's beside the point. So once I have my 2 other shows done and I'm not working on them anymore, this is what I'm going to be doing. So as you can see by the photos on screen, this is how my calendars look right now. So they first looked like this for June, July, and August. With being 3 weeks ahead. Pause. Editing Raf here, just wanted to say the reason why my August calendar is incomplete is that something went wrong with the editing, but there was stuff in there for doing the commercial pattern, but I have a new schedule that you'll see momentarily. I can now rearrange it and do something more along the lines of this. This isn't set in stone, but this is how my June calendar looks as of right now, my July calendar, and my August calendar. So, with those calendars out of the way, the commercial dress is the final dress that will be made because there's only 2 pieces. I'm using modern techniques. I'm using an electric sewing machine so I can use both hands. I don't have to, hand crank everything on this machine. So I know that's going to take a lot less time than it is for any of the other pieces, and it's only 2 garment pieces, a bodice and a skirt. Simple as that. So that's why that's there. The belt, I have the belt scheduled in there with a question mark, mostly because that's an afterthought. The dress doesn't need the belt. It's an optional piece. So if I have time, I'm going to make it. If I don't, I'll still have the dress, and I just don't want to run out of time and do a half-assed job on a dress when I should be doing just as much effort on the commercial dress as I am on the historical dress, because they both deserve the same amount of time, the same amount of credit, the same amount of everything, and they will both be done and beautiful. And also, if you've noticed, everything has a week to do it. The reason for this is it's a buffer in case I need to spend more time on something, because whilst making the bust bodice, that only took me about 3 days, meaning I can work on other stuff after that. The corset took about 2 days. I thought that was going to take me a week, but it actually went by really, really quickly. So the week is a buffer. I don't plan on using the whole week for every single garment piece, because some garment pieces are going to be a lot easier to do than others, so I don't have to worry about that. But it's there just in case. Time management wise as well, seeing how long each piece is going to make. So I have a list where I've started documenting all the time that it takes me to make something. So it has been really useful to go back in that and being just like, oh, I spent 15 hours total on the corset. I spent 7 hours this day, 8 hours the other day. And I spent, 4 hours cutting this out, 5 hours sewing this, another 2 hours hand sewing, and another hour to finish everything off. So that's also going to play into my time management to see how long things have taken and go back and look at that being just like, wow, it actually took me a lot longer to do this, but it actually went by really quickly for this. That's not something I had in mind. So the finances is the last little bit that I need to go over, because yeah, I only got £500. So that may seem like a lot of money. And for one dress, that's a lot of money. For 2 dresses, you have to split it up. So I have a chart that I will post up in just a moment, but I had split it down the middle so that each dress had an even amount of money right away. So 250 and 250. The chart here that you can see shows a completely different story. I spent £101 on the commercial dress, and that's it. And I spent 340 some pounds on the other dress. And that was kind of to be expected. I knew the commercial dress was going to be a lot more because I'm using silks rather than cottons or linens. And yeah, so it was going to cost more, which is fine. And yeah, so that was my finances. Everything is broken down. Everything was, broken down to the beginning of 250 and 250, and then I bought everything and noticed that, oh, I actually will have more for the other dress. And then I have the other expenditures, so, dyes, the rabbit skin glue, the pattern, and the busk, and that leaves me with about close to 18 pounds. Just going to round it up, 18 pounds left over. I don't think I'm going to have to go into that because I have everything I need, but if I have to, go and buy more thread, that's an easy thing, and thread doesn't cost that much. So I have a little bit extra in case I need to get a few extra things, but I have no more fabric to purchase really for this project or projects. So that is my finances, that's my timetable. On to the outro. We've come to the end. As I said in the beginning, this is my final long chat about my practice dissertation before I start uploading other videos on my making process, on how things are going, and doing more vlog style stuff as well for this. I hope this is going to be an interesting process for not just for people for Tony and Mitch who are doing my marking on this project, but also for anybody who comes along these videos. I want this to be a learning process. I want it to be a fun process, and I should state, none of my videos are tutorials. None should be taken as a tutorial. I'm still learning, and this is all experimental, so please don't take anything I say as concrete as you must stitch it like this. This is not tutorials. please follow please follow me along on this adventure. It'd be really nice to, you know, get comments and see what people are saying about certain things in the costuming world. And it's gonna be a fun project. Like, I'm making 2 Edwardian dresses, 1 commercial, 1 historical, and it's just gonna be a really fun experience, I think, for everybody to watch. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more videos that will be coming out soon. Hit the bell icon to get notified when the new videos do come out. It's gonna be very sporadic. It's not gonna be a set schedule. But yeah. If you want to see my other videos, click on my channel. Up in the iCard, I will have the first video of my Victorian project for my Anne Curry project that I did a few months ago. And thanks for tuning in.